Now let's create the orders table and add a relationship between the customers and orders. So I'm going to collapse the customers table so we have more space here. First, we're going to drop the orders table if it exists. So drop table if exists orders. And then we create the orders table with these columns. First, we need the order ID. This is going to be an integer and it's going to be the primary key for this table. Next, we have the customer ID. This is also going to be an integer and it's not going to be nullable. So here I apply the not null attribute. Now let's clean up this code by aligning these attributes. That's better. Now note that here I did not apply the not null attribute on the order ID column because when we apply the primary key attribute on a column, MySQL will assume that that column does not accept null values because it doesn't make sense to have null in a primary key column. Now, to define a relationship between these two tables, after we list all our columns, we type foreign key. So we want to apply a foreign key constraint on the customer ID column. First, we need to give our foreign key a name. Here's a convention that a lot of people use. FK, underline. Here we add the name of our child or foreign key table, that is orders. And then we add the name of the parent or primary key column, customers. Next, in parentheses, we list the columns that we want to add this foreign key on. In this case, the customer ID column. Now here we need to tell MySQL that this column references the customer ID column in the customers table. So we type references, customers table, and in parentheses, we type customer ID. So that's the customer ID column in the customers table. Next, we need to specify the update and delete behavior. Should we cascade them or reject them? What should we do? So we type on update. Here we can type cascade or set null or no action. These are the options that you saw earlier in the foreign key panel. Let me show you. So here in our SQL Store database, let's take a look at the orders table. And by the way, I'm looking at the original SQL Store database. So I open this table. Down the bottom, we have a bunch of tabs. Open the foreign keys tab. And here you can see all the foreign keys, the columns they're applied on, and the update and delete behavior. So back to our query window. If the ID of a customer changes, I want to cascade the update so the corresponding customer records in the orders table get updated automatically. So here we type cascade. What about deletion? On delete. I don't want to cascade the deletes because I don't want to accidentally lose our orders. So here I'm going to use no action, and this will prevent or reject the deletion. If you try to delete a customer and that customer has an order, MySQL will say, hey, you cannot delete this because there is an order for this customer. Now, some people argue that we should not cascade updates because the primary key should not change. While I agree with that in theory, in practice, things are different. We don't live in a perfect world. Sometimes the primary key can change. This can be someone's accident. It can be a bug in our application. It can happen for a number of reasons. So I personally prefer to cascade my updates. But if you disagree with this, that's totally fine. Now, let's terminate this statement with a semicolon and execute our script. All right, beautiful. Let's refresh the Navigator panel and look at our SQL Store 2 database. Here's the orders table that we created. Beautiful. Now, if we re-execute this script, we're going to get an error on line 3. MySQL will not be able to drop the customers table because now it's part of a relationship. So to delete the customers table, first we need to delete the orders table because this table depends on the customers table. If we delete the orders table, customers table will not be part of a relationship and we can easily delete it. So I'm going to move this drop table statement before dropping the customers table. We can separate these statements by a line break. That's better. Now let's execute the script one more time. Beautiful. Our database is regenerated from scratch.